What inspired me to do this project was the BBC documentary Planet Earth. In particular, an episode about the sardine run up the southeast coast of Southern Africa. And I found it very interesting, and I thought I'd definitely want to develop this as an idea. So I started off with my idea. I developed a storyboard for the idea. I worked on a couple of initial storyboards until I settled on one, and refined it over my first semester of my third year in my degree. And then from there, I started taking it further, working on experimental animation. I went to a local aquatic centre, and I observed fish swimming around, koi and angelfish and all these exotic fish, and just saw how they moved, and really tried to visualize it in my head. So I'd look at the footage and then go back to what I saw and just make sure I understood how a fish moves and how its body moves and how the tail moves and when it turns, so that its actions really, and how it's affected by that low gravity of water. The medium of water really. And so once I understood that, it made things a lot easier. From there, from doing my initial research and a few experimental animations and having my storyboards settled and having the full concept down, all the pre-production out of the way, I started animating. Initially, when thinking about what is going to accompany this animation in terms of the soundscape, I was going to contact bands. I was going to get maybe a score done by a French band or something like that. And then I also thought about working in software like Fruit Loops, or like a sound mixing package, just to really see what I could produce myself in terms of making a score for the animation, and see what could come about that way. So I started asking questions. I started contacting different individuals, and some I didn't get response from some certain bands. I didn't really know them well. Mentioned to me by friends, but thankfully through a mutual friend, I met a sound recording technician in London, and he was very keen to get involved in this, and we hit it off straight away. And I discussed the idea and the concept with him, and he was good with it. His name is Ed Weston, and he was definitely good to go ahead with this and help out. And so we corresponded a lot, and just really refined it. Initially, I didn't have anything to really show him. I had the basic storyboard, the animatic that I produced from the storyboard, just to give him a very vague outline, and he worked from there. And I was going to say, he's amazing. He really understood what he was doing. When it came to the timing of the animation, from the initial storyboards, I worked out that the entire animation would be 2 minutes, but what I later came to realize is that the full animation would probably be about 7-8 minutes. The individual timing of the elements, like a fish swimming and stuff like that, was all right, but the pauses needed, and certain things needed to be slower. As when the eggs rained down, that needed to be a lot slower. So I really had to rework that, and I realized that from when the grand old mother fish lays the eggs to when the egg hatches, that basically covered the 2 minutes I needed. So through the animation process, like the mid-production process, I realized that I would really get everything done by just going along and animating and then reworking the timeline, and then animating and reworking the timeline, and that's how I moved forward. And the end result was hopefully very good. When it came to rendering the footage, I encountered a lot of difficulties when using Toon Boom Studios. It didn't render to the quality that I needed to render to, and often when I do something at a very high the resolution. When it came to rendering the footage in the Toon Boom, it came out really rough and really low quality. So on the advice of my lecturer Omid, I decided to use After Effects, and boy was that a challenge. I had to learn the whole software package in roughly a week, and well, actually a few days, if I was to finish the production, the post-production on time. And yeah, it was a lot of work. I watched a lot of tutorials, searching the net, asking questions online, getting answers, and finally I managed to get to a point where I can produce the animation and do all the post-production, add all the effects on at the end, and yeah, it came along very well, and I got what I was looking for. Within 8 to 10 months I would like to have something finished, and I would submit it to animation festivals, hopefully for some much needed recognition, and yeah, see where it goes from there.